should fight back. They don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft. BJ told me I should fight back. They don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft.
What up, everybody in the YTBC? So, just wanted to give my review on the Canelo versus Jacobs fight. Fuck it, I'll go ahead and give you a review of the overall card. But the Canelo versus Jacobs fight is where I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth. The card overall, I was satisfied with it. Been hearing a lot about this Vergil Ortiz. That fight really impressed me, because I'm one of those people who feel that Herrera beat Danny Garcia. I think he was robbed that night. So to see him get just knocked out in the third round by Vergil Ortiz, I mean, it was impressive how he did it. I mean, the first round, it looked like Vergil just didn't know what to do. But I mean, I believe when he said that after the first round he had him figured out, because second and third round, I mean, Vergil Ortiz he whooped that boy. I mean, there ain't no other way I could put it. He beat Herrera. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of him. I believe he's with Golden Boy, if I'm not mistaken. That is the next fighter that they need to be pushing if he is with Golden Boy. But let me go ahead and get, and the other undercards were okay. I mean, they all ended in knockouts. I didn't see the first fight, but I did get to see Jojo versus Fonseca. Jojo Diaz did what he had to do. Farmer is kind of rubbing me the wrong way. I mean, I'm rooting for Farmer to get that fight with Tank Davis, but when they're asking about Jojo Diaz, if Farmer can't get a better fight than Diaz, he needs to go ahead and give him the fight, in my opinion. Of course, if by some miracle Tank agrees to the fight, or by some, or he's able to get, a better fight, unifications trump everything else, in my opinion. So, of course, getting a fight with another champion is definitely going to be better than fighting Jojo Diaz. But that's where I'm at with that. If you can't get anybody else any of the other champions in the ring, and you can't get somebody better, go ahead and give the guy his shot. I mean, I understand he hasn't worked his way up the ranks, but I mean, really, who just fight the best opponent you can get. That's the best. That's the only thing I could say for that situation, in any situation for that matter. But anyways, Canelo versus Jacobs. I was rooting for Jacobs. He of course didn't get the nod, and in a lot of cases, if I feel that a fight is a robbery, I'll say that I think it was a robbery. In this particular case, I don't think Jacobs was robbed. Now don't get me wrong when I say this. To me, I was a bit disappointed in his performance. Not to say that I don't think he gave his best. I think he gave his best on that night. It just, I was expecting more. I thought he would be able to do more, and that's why I was disappointed. However, I wasn't really disappointed in the fight. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't the most exciting fight, but it wasn't a terrible fight either. I think it was a decent fight to watch. On paper, it was the best fight that was made this year. In reality, I wouldn't consider it, the best fight of the year, but I would say that, I was still satisfied. And at the end of the day, I want the champions to face the other champions. If it was up to me, we'd have undisputed in every single division. That, of course, is unrealistic, but the unifications that we can, and the closer we can get to undisputed, I'm all for it. That's why, as far as where Danny Jacobs goes from here, You know, if he wants to stay at 160, that's fine. But I would say maybe he should consider moving up. As far as Canelo, where should he go from here? Well, I would like to see him go ahead and fight Andrade. You know, there's a lot of talk about a third Triple G fight. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it were to happen, I'd watch it. But right now, I just want to see Undisputed, you know. And if it comes down to fighting Triple G or Andrade, I would prefer for them to go with Andrade. That way, you know, after we have an undisputed champion, the winner of that fight could either fight Triple G, you know, possibly do a one-off and move up to super middleweight and fight Billy Joe Saunders, just because that's going to solidify and answer any questions. If you're able to become undisputed and then beat Billy Joe Saunders, and there's no question, because we all know Saunders ended up being stripped of his title, and that always leaves questions when somebody is stripped, like, oh, well, did they really beat the guy because they didn't fight him? He never lost the title. We always hear these arguments, and to me, they're really stupid, petty little arguments, but they are arguments nonetheless, and I'd like to see those questions be answered ultimately. So I think if somebody were to become undisputed at 160, whether it be Canelo or Andrade, and then they were to fight Billy Joe Saunders at 168, or if Saunders is willing to come back down to 60, you know, and I know I'm probably just wishful thinking, but if that could happen, you know, if it's at 168, of course, it wouldn't be a title fight. It would be a non-title fight for the undisputed champion. But if they're able to beat him, I think that makes an argument for, well, even though he didn't beat him at 160, he still beat him. If it's Canelo Alvarez, if I was Canelo Alvarez and I became undisputed, if I moved up to 168 and beat Billy Joe Saunders, I might want to consider just staying at 168 and becoming undisputed there. Don't get me wrong, I like to see an undisputed champion go on a title reign, but I think becoming undisputed in 2 weight classes, that's really saying something. And we've never had an undisputed champion at super middleweight, so I think that would really solidify Canelo Alvarez as #1 pound for pound, actually, in my opinion. A lot of people are giving him that crown right now. I'm not. I mean, I don't really do pound for pound lists. I just kind of gauge, just because I don't want that on my channel with just, it doesn't matter. You have a pound for pound list, you're going to piss off pretty much everybody. There's going to be very few people who look at your pound for pound list and say, all right, well, I respect your opinion. That they're always going to, you know, put their 2 cents in, and a lot of times want to belittle you just because yours doesn't align with theirs. So I just like to keep that conversation off my page. But I personally wouldn't put him #1. I could definitely, you know, if you have him #1, fair enough. It is what it is. But yeah, overall, I was satisfied with the card. I've heard a lot of people say, was this worth giving DAZN $20 a month? A year ago, you would have been paying $75, $80 for this card. And that's just facts. That's what you would be doing a year ago. So yes, I do think it's worth it. Always keep in mind, you don't have to pay DAZN every month. You can, when there's a fight that you want to see on DAZN, you can sign up for DAZN, and then after that month is up, you can cancel your subscription. That's the beauty of DAZN. You can treat it like a pay-per-view if that's what you really want to do. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think about the card. You know, my comment section is always open. If you want to give me your take on you know, the fight, the card, or my video. So my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stump on this video, hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
undefeated.